when it comes down to yesterday's whole state of play, I saw a lot of people talking about how, oh, that state of play, that joint was mid. That joint was, trash and tragic and all that sort of stuff. It was boring. There was nothing there. And I gotta be honest, if you are one of those people that very much, said things like that, you hate fun. That is literally all that comes down to it. I'm sorry, the game that you wanted to see wasn't having any balls at play or didn't have any guns per se whatsoever. Like, that is literally the funnest state of play you could possibly ever really had. Hell, there wasn't even games for me in particular, but there was some things in there where I was just like, dang, I remember people asking for that for so long. So you know what? I'm not mad about that, right? Like Final Fantasy Tactics. As much as Square Enix's whole, logo almost gave me a dang heart attack thinking that Kingdom Hearts was there, for whatever reason, which granted, I thought it was going to be at Summer Game Fest, which could still be a possibility. But when it comes down to it though, that little thing, I was like, okay. That was how I was feeling. That was how I was basically feeling at that time, and I think most Kingdom Hearts fans were feeling the same thing. But when it comes down to it though, there was just a lot of games that was really out there. That was like, it's really weird, but also kind of interesting. There was also some stuff that was just like not for me, but people have been asking again for that for years, so I'm not super mad at that. And there was some sleeper games, like maybe 3 sleeper games or so, but that's really about it, right? And then obviously we can't not talk about the biggest reveal of all the reveals, which was pretty much the Marvel fighting game, Marvel Tokon. That is crazy work, right? And obviously, for a lot of people that might be like, why is this a big deal? Why should so many people care? It's because we always had Marvel vs. Capcom for so dang long. It has always been a thing that been existing, right? It's been there for so many years, way before I was even born. And when it comes down to it, it's just like, what do you mean they're not doing anything with Capcom now? What do you think this is just Marvel by itself? Basically Marvel superheroes from way back in the day, and no Capcom to just be seen anywhere. Except this time it's just Arc System Works, the same people that did, a lot of the Guilty Gear games, if not all the Guilty Gear games, now that I think about it. Then also Dragon Ball Fighters, and now they're doing this. And it's just like, excuse you? So this was very much a great state of play. Honestly, 10 out of 10 when it comes down to it. And it's just nice to see a state of play where you have a whole bunch of Japanese devs showing how to work it for once. Because for the last couple of years, they have not been able to show anything on the Japanese side. It's always been a hard behind push on the Western side of gaming, and there'll probably still be, pushes for it, but it usually is just a push for the Western side of video games, and never really the Japanese side outside of like maybe 1 or 2 titles. And that's how it is. And in a lot of the dang time for old state of plays in general, they have been sleeper fest for me. There was not a game in half of those that I'm sitting here like, oh yes, I'm super excited by, right? There's just lots of times where I'm just sitting here just like, bro, this was the most waste of time state of play I've ever seen. And then ultimately, that's just how it felt for years now for a lot of these state of plays. Like, there was nothing really there. I'm sitting here thinking, oh yeah, this state of play is just going to be absolutely trash, just like a lot of them. I don't know why I'm watching this, but I'm gonna watch it anyway. And then they decide to be like, alright, we're gonna show you Pragmata with the fine ass robot lolly. Okay, I actually been waiting on that kinda. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. I'm a bit surprised. But I've been waiting on that. That's a fun one. So good on Pragmata, about damn time, because I'm kind of curious about that one. And then they said, all right, how about some Silent Hill F? And I'm just like, all right, I'm effing with ya. Boring. But when it comes down to it, though, I'm like, all right, this is some heat. And then they kept going, and going, and going, and they kept just showing off different games from a lot of these Japanese devs, and it's just like, what is this wonderland that you just put me here? Neo 3? I still haven't beat Neo 2. I need to actually do that. But still, I'm like, Neo 3? Give me that demo immediately. Like, I'm probably gonna try it out possibly after I get done recording and editing and all that stuff, if I have the time. But when it comes down to it though, that was just like a crazy thing. I was not expecting no Neo 3 being there, you know? So that was pretty dang hype, you know? And again, not every game I'm gonna sit here and just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy just out the gate, out the wazoo, and all that sort of stuff. No, I'm not gonna do all that, but at the very same time, I can appreciate when there's just good games on the horizon that people has been looking for, and just a giant surprise again with that Marvel game at the end that was just taking everything by storm. Because again, was anybody expecting a whole ass Marvel game coming out of Arc System Works of all people? I don't think so. Granted, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite wasn't necessarily the greatest game of all time, had hella problems, and Marvel really was just in the damn way of that game, which was incredibly annoying. So if they decide to get out of the way and let Arc System Works do what they're gonna do, this is the peak time. This is the best time frame to honestly have. Like, did you not see how fine Miss Marvel looks? Like, usually, you know, I'm sitting here and I've seen that character before, especially in, you know, the Avengers game. I'm just like, you know, she's all right, I guess. She's some weirdo, I guess. But now she's just looking mad cute, and I'm just like, well, time to go ahead and clap some cheeks real quick. That's immediately my response. And then, like, literally a lot of the other characters look mad cool as well. Like came in Iron Man and you know, Captain America looking mad saucy. Like, there's a lot of cool shit. Now, all I need to see, if we're gonna be real, all I really want to see in terms of like the roster, if I'm gonna be real, is like Venom or some nonsense. Just chuck me some Venom my way, and then, you know, we'll see how that go, and I might be super down for it. You know, I might be even more interested than I'm already am, right? And not to mention, it's 4v4, right? That's a lot of effing characters to put onto a screen, much less to tag in as well. I'm not a huge fan of tag games. In fact, I'll go ahead and say it. I hate tag games. But at the very same time, I can't sit here and get mad at the prospect of, oh shit, tag games, kind of cool, right? And especially, again, with the circumstance of what we have here. So I'm not really all that mad about that, right? And the fact that people have the nerve to sit here and say, oh yeah, this wasn't it, or this was mid, is crazy work. It's actual crazy work when you had so much sauce just all across the board that was just really damn good. Like, I don't get that, right? I really don't, you know? And again, it's just very nice to see Japan finally showing some type of, you know, games that they have that is, you know, worth people's times, that isn't just, you know, straight up what we expect. It's just actual other stuff as well. And it's like, whoa, okay, yeah, I'm basically here for it. And that's just the sauce. That's what we've been needed for like so long. And hopefully, with more things like the Marvel fighting game that's supposed to be coming out next year, hopefully, you know, we get more cool ideas for games to come through. Because that's probably like a fantasy game that somebody probably thought of years ago, or possibly just at some point in time being like, you know what would be cool for fun if Marvel just had an Arc System type of game, you know, that would be really cool. I doubt that will happen, and that's probably like fantasy land, but at the very same time, it would be really cool if it happened, you know. That will be peak. That will be absolutely nice, you know. And then ultimately it did end up happening, and then well, there you go, right? There you go. There's also been talks, or at least rumors, that the streets been saying that Horikoshi, apparently from, you know, the creator of My Hero Academia, apparently is doing maybe some of the character designs. And if that's the case, oh yeah, that's kind of peak. That's really peak. Because I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I was actually gonna sit here and say, yo, it would be dope as hell that you got a game that looks like this, and then you had like maybe like a My Hero DLC collab or something like that in some shape and form. I would love to see that if that was the case. Because if anybody's gonna collab with Marvel in any way, or it will make sense for them to collab or fight in a game like that, My Hero should do that. I don't see why they wouldn't. I don't see why that wouldn't be a thing. But if that were to happen, that's a real take my money sort of situation. If they, you know, collab or in some shape or form with My Hero, and then become like a thing with that. Because that makes the most sense. That makes so much sense for all the things in the world. And if somehow Toga got put in there, easy day one purchase. Very easy day one purchase for me, if I'm being honest. In some shape and form, that would just be how it is, and I'm just gonna have to deal with that, right? But yeah, overall though, this was hype. This whole thing was hype. And if this is how State of Play was, I'm curious to see what the hell Summer Game Fest is gonna do when it comes down to a lot of the nonsense they're gonna try to push, and a lot of the games they're gonna try to hopefully have there. Maybe we might get to see, you know, a Kingdom Hearts 4, which I'll be happy as hell, and I'll come through, make a video right after that damn trailer, just so I can, you know, be out here glazing the shit out of the Keyblade and everything that was fresh and new, if it happens, right? So there's very much gonna be that. There's also gonna be a bit of glaze if it's FF7 Part 3. Not really too much more, because I need Kingdom Hearts first, and I'll be kind of pissed if FF come out before that, but you never really know. And then, for me in the morning, Genshin's gonna pop through with 5.7 stuff. Or is it, I think 5.7? 5.7 stuff. Which, that's been what I've been waiting on this entire damn week, right? So, there's hype levels for games right now. Literally, tomorrow is gonna be some heaven for games in the morning, and then in the evening, we're gonna get to see some magic being done, and it's gonna be saucy as hell, and we should all be hella excited for what we're about to get into, right? And you best believe, I'm probably gonna do, maybe, there might be 2 videos, honestly, depending on what happens, if, you know, ours pop out there, and then with Genshin, but you best believe we're gonna talk about, you know, I guess like Genshin when it comes down to things once I get back from work, unfortunately, with all that nonsense. If you know, you know. But still, very much, that's something I'm extremely looking forward to, like, with everything. That's the biggest thing for me, right? I want to see what happens to that Sky with Lamine up there. I want to see if she rips that shit a new asshole or not. That's just me, but ultimately, that's really all I guess what I wanted to say for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out, also on my socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until then, it's been Boy J, signing off. Have a blessed time.